evening everyone, and welcome along to live coverage of the TGP2 Season 28 finale here as we head to Bahrain and Silverstone. Well, we have been all across the world, from continent to continent. We've been in the Middle East, we've been in Europe, we've been in South America, and of course in Asia. And it all comes down to this: Magic Poop Cannon versus Chris Johnson for the TGP2 World Championship. What a season it's been. I'm Ginger Andy, and once again joining me for this final flourish, it's the man with those wonderful Scouse tones, Dan the Man. Dan, what an evening we have in store tonight. Two drivers head to head fighting for the World Championship.
Yeah, good evening, Andy. I think this is going to be a classic, isn't it? The final two races of the season. As you say, we've been all around the world, and but the two races we're doing tonight, two races that we've done earlier in the season, but around the short circuits. This time it's the proper one, the real one. And as you say, just 1 point separating Chris Johnson and Magic Poop Cannon for the final two races of the season. I don't know how this is going to go, but I think it's going to be exciting.
It sure is, and with 9 minutes to go in qualifying, we're roughly halfway through this qualifying session as you join us. It is Magic Poop Cannon that is setting the early pace, a 1 minute 26.4, currently the time to beat for him. Chris Johnson on an outlap at the minute. He did leave the lobby, but he is back. For a brief moment it was a case of, where's the World Championship leader? But I can tell you, he's back, and there is no need for that now. And yeah, harping back to an old quote from many moons ago, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I do fear you might have to say that again a bit later, because he is lagging a lot for me, certainly right now. Hopefully that will sort itself out as Dom goes to the top of the times at a 126.2. Magic Poop Cannon is on another lap at the moment, although he is slightly down in the first sector. But yeah, hopefully Chris Johnson does not disconnect. It would be disastrous if that was to happen on the final night of the season, wouldn't it?
Yep, it really would take the shine off what has been a fantastic season of TGP2 action. It swung one way then the other between these two in the championship. Neither one, well, they've both been able to go in little runs, but neither went on a run that could clinch the title well before the finale. You know, you look back to real life Formula One where, you know, it was Vettel versus Hamilton. One went a run, the other did, and then Hamilton with that late final blow punching away. But this has been one of those seasons where that just doesn't seem to happen, and that's exactly what we neutrals all want, as Magic Poop Cannon bails out of that latest run and comes into the pits. And now we can pick up the championship leader, Chris Johnson, who leads this title battle by just one solitary point. You know, we all want to see these two battling for the victory in the closing laps at Silverstone tonight, with the championship less than 7 points between them, don't we?
Of course, absolutely, and it could finish on the same amount of points. It could go to count back, of course. Who knows what could happen? It's more complicated than trying to work out third place teams in the Euros, isn't it? It's just very difficult to work out if you get into a count back situation.
Don't mention the Euros, for God's sake, Dan.
Okay, that's the only mention of it. Promise.
I tell you what, Dan, the number of times I've been crunching the numbers on third places, and it was all for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Oh, the optimist. But yeah, I think we'll park the Euros to one side, shall we, and never ever talk about it again. It's been a disaster. It's Chris Johnson then. Oh, that's all wrong. Into the final corner. No, it's just lag as he comes out in the final corner, up to the line. What's it going to be then for Chris Johnson? It's not going to be a particularly quick lap, and he stays 19th quickest. So a little bit of lag, a little bit of concern for the championship leader at this stage. And with 6 minutes left, Dan, no time on the board.
Yeah, I do wonder why exactly Chris Johnson is on the circuit, to be honest, because he said he crossed the line and then the time was still going, so I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully that sorts itself out. I do remember, actually, when we done the short race around here in Bahrain, Chris Johnson briefly disconnected from that one as well, so I don't know. .711. Top 5 separated by about half a second at the moment.
Yep, I hope you can hear me now, folks. I think Don mentioned I was on the crackly mic there, and he was absolutely right. A little setting I messed up there on the mic, but I hope you can hear me a little crisper, a little clearer now, so apologies for that. Dan, I don't even know if you noticed I was away where we were speaking, I'm not sure, but I'm back.
Not really.
Okay, well, I'm back, and Magic Poop Cannon is on an out lap, about to start a flying lap. 5 minutes to go. It's Dom Smith then from Jacko at the top of the time sheet. There's been a number of times this season, Dan, hasn't there, where a couple of drivers have just stunned us and popped right up towards the front of the order. You know, if you remember back with the Reynolds on pole at one point, the likes of Parsa, Cena up there, and a few others. So, you know, is it going to be Dom Smith and Jacko's day to get it in amongst the championship protagonists? Well, it's certainly looking like that at the minute, but Magic Poop Cannon needs to find a couple of attempts to get back onto that pole position as he makes his way up the hill at the end of that first sector. Just one more corner to go until he ends that now. Running it right out to the edge of the track. Through that sector beam he goes now, and he's just a fraction down on his previous best through that first sector. So you'll now go into the technical part of the track, Dan, and you've got to say, this is probably the hardest part of the circuit, these two hairpins, isn't it? That first one, the right-hander, and then this long double apex left-hander. Really easy to mess this up and lock up and run wide.
Yeah, it's so awkward, isn't it? One of the most frustrating corners on the entire calendar. So tricky to get right, but once you've got that sorted, you can sort of unleash your way through turn 11 here. How late you're going to be on the brakes, how early you're going to be picking back up the throttle, and then as you come around this right-hander, you have to avoid the curve. He actually backed out of that slightly there, and he's 2/10 off. So you have to back out slightly. I think he was heading for that curve, wasn't he? He would have just gone straight into a spin.
Yeah, it's so easy, Dan, to just edge towards that curb. It's the most natural thing to do. You want to take that tighter line through the corner, but as you say, a bit like Hungary, isn't it? Up at turn 5 and 6, you don't want to get on that inside curb, or you're going to get spat out. You know, the car loses its balance, and you just go for a big off. But Magic Poop Cannon bailing out of that. If he's 2/10 down, he's come into the pits, and he will have time to put a fresh set of boots on and go again. But at the minute, you know, neither here Chris Johnson really threatening Dom Smith or Jacko. You know, usually Magic Poop Cannon, but now you'd have thought he'd be right up in amongst it. But he does often like a late run in the session to go for pole, doesn't he?
He does indeed, yeah. And Dom has quite a few times this season as he's put in an early solid lap and looked quite good for pole possibly, and then lost it towards the end. See if he can hold on this time. It would be his first pole of the season. Jacko got pole, I think, in Monza, didn't he? Was it? I think earlier on in the season, so he could go and be on for a second one this season. Dom will be desperate for pole. He got close in Russia, I think, didn't he, in Monaco as well? He thought he could have got pole, still hasn't managed it. He's had some great starts as well this season off the line, so if he can get pole, he could be away and gone.
Yep, absolutely, and we shouldn't mention with Dom Smith on pole at the minute. His last win 169 races ago, back in season 21, 7 seasons ago. Could it be on the final night that he, the final night of the season in season 28, bows out with a victory and ends that barren spell? We'll have to wait and see. Sayre Sports is out there at the minute, pushing hard, coming through that middle sector. What's it going to look like? I'm not too sure if he's going at full pelt. Let's see the second sector. No, he's 2.8 down. He's bailed out of that latest run. Who else we got out there pushing at the minute? We've still got Chris Johnson on an out lap. Magic Poop Cannon still in the pits. He better hurry up and get out there, by the way. And I think he might just be about to make his way out now.
He's just out now. Yeah, just coming out now. He should be fine.
Leaving it very, very late as Alex Zaffro makes his way through the middle sector, and that's going to be round, and that could be in the wall. Not quite enough speed to carry him towards the wall. Going down the hill there. Harping back to Lewis Hamilton, was it 2007 or 2008 he lost it round there and found his way into the barrier?
It was 2008, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah.
I think.
And Alex Zaffro has an off there, but he lives to fight for another day. But surely he's been a right mess of those tyres, you would think, wouldn't you? Let's go further up the field then.
Yeah,
Blow and wheel nut.
I just watching Jacko, he's looking quite quick. 104.7 in the middle sector. That's quicker than what Don was, I believe, at this stage. I think Jacko could be heading for a pole lap here.
Yep, purple in the middle sector. Monza pole position. Is it going to be a second pole of the season for the Racing Point driver? Baza getting right in the way into that final corner. Hopefully won't have hurt him too much. He will now pick up a lovely little slipstream from Baza. Is it going to be enough for pole? Yes, it is. A 126 flat for Jacko. Not quite enough to dip into the 25s, but that is the new marker. Dom Smith, a fraction down on his previous best through the first sector. Let's see what he can manage through the middle. We've still got Poop Cannon and Chris Johnson on outlaps. They're leaving it very, very late to start their final runs here in qualifying. Dom Smith then making his way up the hill through that long sweeping right-hander. Stay away from the curb, and he does do that. Although he's some 2/10 down and it's not looking good.
And he's invalidated it. He's gone too wide on the exit turn 13, and that's it for Dom. He will not be on pole round here. That is it for him. Meanwhile, Magic Buchanan and Chris Johnson have both started the final laps with just seconds to go in the session. They're very early on around the lap, and they're both going to be pushing for the pole lap.
Before we do that, let's go to Baza. 2 tenths up on his previous best for the first sector. Could he be the spanner in the works for Magic Buchanan? Could he get in the way with his teammate Chris Johnson in a title battle? That looks a little bit wide from Baza, struggling to get the grip he was looking for through that right-hander as he now sweeps up the hill, and he's only a fraction better than his previous best, so it might be enough for the top 4 for Baza, but no more than that. And I think that is a good cue to go to Buchanan, who's a 10th up through the first sector on his previous best. I'm not sure if you've seen what Chris Johnson did, Dan, but I know Buchanan is a 10th up.
Chris Johnson was about 1,000, pretty much even. He was essentially even on his first sector, so he's going to need a killer second and final sector, I think, if he wants to get anywhere even close to Magic Buchanan.
2 tenths up for Magic Buchanan. I don't think it's going to be enough for pole position, but it certainly looks like it might be enough for the front row. It's Jacko with that 26-0 looking at a second pole of the season in the penultimate round. Can Magic Buchanan, in a vital race in this championship battle, find a way to put it on pole as he runs to the line? What's it going to be? He's done it! Absolutely unbelievable final sector at 25.9, and he sent a message to Chris Johnson, who's only 7th on the grid. Disaster for Chris Johnson. What a mega final sector for the Estonian driver. Magic Buchanan cannons to the top of the timesheets.
Well, Chris Johnson's bad qualifying flow continues then at the worst possible time. He's going to be 7th. He's got his teammates in front of him, the 2 Ferraris. We'll see if his teammate plays the team game, in fact. Maybe tries to make it a little easy for him if he gets anywhere close. But wow, you have to say Magic Buchanan is going to be going into this race certainly with a good advantage to take the lead of the championship going into the finale in Silverstone straight afterwards.
Yeah, well, you know what I really want, Dan? What I really want as a neutral is Buchanan winning with Chris Johnson second, and then they're separated by the 7 points we want, the magic number, the 7 points. And then, I don't know who wins on countback, but if Chris was to win the next race with Buchanan second, they would be tied on points. That would be absolutely epic. But on countback, who would win it? What's the permutations? We'll need to look at that, because you just don't expect these things.
Well, Chris has got 6 wins, and Magic Buchanan's got 7 at the moment. So obviously you'd have to add another one on, yeah. But then if they were to tie on wins, Chris has got 6 second places, and Magic Buchanan's only had 2. So if they were to tie on wins, then the championship would go to Chris Johnson, because obviously Magic Buchanan can't make up 2. You know, he'd only get up to 4 second places if he's to even finish second twice tonight. So you have to say, if it was count back, it would probably go in Chris Johnson's favour. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we will see how it goes, and the fine qualifying form of Magic Buchanan continues. That is his 11th pole in 21 races this season. That's half of the races, or more than half, he's got with pole position. Jacko denied this time. He is second on the grid. Dom Smith lines up third with Baza in 4th. He can try and help his teammate, but with his teammate down in 7th, it's not going to do much. Blown Milner is 5th. Sayre Sports 6th. As we said, Chris Johnson 7th. Blair Grills lines up 8th. Alex Zaffro is 9th with Nell Jack in 10th. Indecisive is next. Sir Tom Penguin, Mick Schumacher, M. Shep, Stereogram, the great Red Bull Kim, Angel versus Death, Parsa, Mr. John, and Kaya complete the grid for the penultimate round of the season here in the desert of Bahrain. What a race we've got lined up, but history has shown this season, even with 7th on the grid, you can't count Chris Johnson out, can you?
No, and he's made us similar to Dom. He's made a lot of brilliant starts to races throughout the season. I think Monaco was one when Magic Buchanan was out ahead and Chris Johnson got a great start and ended up finishing ahead of Magic Buchanan in that race. Ultimately, there's been a few others as well. He has a bad qualifying, but he seems to always nail the start of the race, and if he does that again, then he can quickly come back into it. But with just 1 point separating them, you know, he has to finish ahead of Magic Buchanan pretty much, obviously, unless Magic Buchanan will go into the lead, will be in the lead going into Silverstone.
Yeah, and crucially, even with that second, as we were discussing earlier, if he was to be second to Buchanan in the 7 point gap, because of the countback, as we touched on, second wouldn't be enough. So it would be totally out of Chris Johnson's hands if he was second behind Poopcannon here. But we'll find out then as the 5 red lights go on. The penultimate race of the season is go. It's a good start from Magic Poopcannon. Jacko alongside in the front row. It needs to be a good getaway. It needs to be a good run down to turn 1 for Poopcannon as they run into that first corner. Look at Dom Swift trying to go through the middle. Jacko sending one up the inside, but he can't get it done. And it's a crucial getaway for Poopcannon, who's a little bit out of shape. And now Jacko storms into the lead of this Bahrain Grand Prix. A vital moment in this championship already as Jacko takes the lead. Where is Chris Johnson though? He's down in 8th and struggling, Dan.
He's down 8th, and I think he had a little bit of contact with Indecisive at the start as well. I don't think he's got damage, but I think Indecisive certainly has. Indecisive goes wide, and Chris Johnson goes round the outside and gets into 7th. And is he going to go for burn wheel off for 6th? Oh, Indecisive wants to move out the way. Then he went into the back of Chris Johnson.
Safety car. And we've got a safety car already. Angel versus Death out of this race. Parsa out of this race. They appear to have gone and done what we saw from Alex Zaffro in qualifying. I didn't see it on the camera, but it looks like they've done that, going by where their cars are on the map, and shot across the track and into the wall on that left hand side. I wonder if they went off together or separate incidents that both saw them slew across the track. We'll have to wait and see that.
Yeah, we will, won't we? I was focusing a little bit at the front with Chris Johnson. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm just wondering then, are we going to get pit stops? We surely will. I'm just trying to see who's got damage, because I've seen something flying off one of the cars towards the front of the field there just before the safety car came out. So I'm going to see if any of them pit. But well, this could be quite an interesting moment here, because of course if Bazza pits, if Chris Johnson will surely have to stay out unless he's going to have to queue.
Yeah, well, that's a very, very, very good point. What will Bazza do? Is he interested in helping his teammate? No, he's coming in.
Poopcannon's coming in.
And so is Bazza, and so is Chris Johnson.
Oh,
and this...
They've got a queue.
They're going to queue indeed. This is a hammer blow down at Mercedes. Toto Wolff, pulling his hair out. He's wondering why, as Bazza came into the pits, is that one of the most selfish acts you've ever seen? Well, in league racing, it does not matter. There is no team contracts, there is no payment, and in league racing it's all for fun, and Chris Johnson will be furious with the Welshman Bazza now, and it is a hammer blow down at Mercedes. Chris Johnson left with it all to do, down in 13th place in this race. What an absolute disaster, Dan. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, I'm kind of amazed, I have to say. I am quite amazed by that. I don't know if Bazza and Chris Johnson talked to each other during the races, but clearly not playing the team game there, and that's made things a lot more difficult for Chris Johnson. Now he's been jumped by Mick Schumacher, by Alex Zaffro as well. So of course he was already behind Dom and Bazza and Magic Poopcannon, but it just makes the job even more difficult for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, he's now in net 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, net 6th, because quite a few stayed out. So Jacko's, Ser Sports, Stereogram, Tom Penguin, M Shep, Red Bull Kimmy loves to stay out, and Kaya all staying out. So Magic Poopcannon is going to be your net leader here, with Bazza 2nd, Dom Smith 3rd, and Alex Zaffro 4th. So Mick Schumacher, Mick Schumacher's made some wild gains since the start of this race, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Yeah, you're right, he has. He's up into what, net 5th, is that pretty much now?
Yeah, from 13th I think he was in the grid, so that's quite the climb for him.
And so we've got Alex and Bazza put the hards on, by the way, we should just say as well.
Okay,
on that stop.
So hards for Bazza, hards for Alex. Let's see if anyone else comes into the pits on this lap, but usually if you don't pit in that first lap, there's no real reason to pit on the second lap. You're usually committing, aren't you, because you'd just be surrendering the track position. So let's see what Jacko does then, but my gut feeling is they're all going to stay out, Dan.
Well, we have seen a few times, sometimes drivers make a pit stop in TGP2 on the second lap, but I don't think that's going to happen this time around. No, they are indeed all staying out. Shepherd has a penalty, by the way, so I'm guessing that must be for an instance towards the start of the race. As we have got somebody pitting. Mr. John's come in, and he's put the hard tyres on. So he pit on the last lap. So he's going to put maybe a set of mediums on now and just go to the ends. I wonder. He's at the very back of the field anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully Mr. John doesn't have a good race, because I've seen a number of his tweets slagging off Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm only joking, Mr. John. Bit of fun here and there, nothing wrong with that. But he is now bringing up the rear of the field. That's now 1 racing point at the front, 1 racing point at the back. So the Pink Panthers sandwiching
the rest of the field. But it is Jacko in control at the minute, with Sayre Sports in second, Stereogram third, Sir Tom Penguin fourth, MJ fifth, Red Bull Kim sixth, and Kaya seventh. They've all yet to make a stop, so that hands Magic Poop Cannon the net lead from Baza, Dom, Alex, Mick, and Chris. So I mean, there's no other way of putting it now, isn't there, Dan? Chris Johnson has simply got to get the elbows out, or this championship's getting away from him.
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's going to have to get the elbows out, isn't he? Absolutely. But Jacko, talking about getting the elbows out, Jacko and Sayre Sports have had a lot of close battles throughout this season. And in fact, just in the previous race in Azerbaijan, they actually made contact. So they do not want to spend time under this restart. When we get going again, you don't want to spend time battling, do they? Because these guys need to pull a bit of a gap now.
Yep.
But I just wonder if they may be tempted to get involved in another fight, which they have done several times throughout the season.
Yep. Well, pardon me. We've put a few. We've put ourselves in the seat of Chris Johnson. Let's put ourselves in the seat of Magic Poop Cannon then, as we get underway. Surely it's caution against the 7 cars in front. You don't want to go jumping in, but there's an opportunity for Baza behind to repay Chris Johnson by getting in front of Magic Poop Cannon. So how do you approach this if you're Magic Poop Cannon?
I think I just got to try and be fairly relaxed about it all, to be honest. Just try and keep you cool. You're not in a rush necessarily like what Chris Johnson's going to be, and don't go for any wild moves. And if Baza does try and go for a crazy move, perhaps it would just be best to move over and let him pass. But anyway, let's see what happens as we get ready for this restart. Jacko back on the right up.
Yeah, but Jacko back in the right up, and we are underway and racing, and that is a fantastic run out of the final corner from Joe Sayre, and the prancing horse is galloping alongside on the run to turn 1. A superstar from Sayre Sports, and the Ferrari gallops past into the braking zone. Jacko tries to hold it round the outside. It will be the inside for the next corner, but it's to no avail. Sayre Sports, with a fine getaway, moves up into the lead of this race.
And Magic Poop Cannon has been overtaken by Baza. Baza did manage to get a great move on him. Out of Magic Poop Cannon. Baza in 8th, Magic Poop Cannon then down to 9th. Chris Johnson has just got past Kaya, but Kaya's disconnected, so Chris Johnson made one place up in 12th. Oh my goodness, Mick Schumacher and Alex Zafra almost come together.
Almost came together and could have wiped Chris Johnson out with them, or could have been the parting of the seas to let Chris Johnson after Magic Poop Cannon. As it is, they all stay on the road somehow, but only 4 cars between Magic Poop Cannon, or well, 2 cars between Magic Poop Cannon now and Chris Johnson. So Poop Cannon going for the calm approach, and to be honest, I can see why. He's got time and he has got track position against his main rival. The last thing he needs is contact with Baza.
Absolutely, and just looking at Dom here, he's nearly going to go round and pass Red Bull Kim there into turn 12. He needs to try and get past Red Bull Kim. The legs of Sayre Sports and Jacko need to start pulling away, but I think at this rate they're going to be battling again going into the start-finish race as Dom finally gets past Red Bull Kim now for 6th place. So
that would be a net lead then for Dom Smith, wouldn't it? Because he's also... So I take it Baza and Dom got ahead of Magic Poop Cannon. It wasn't just... So incredible stuff. We didn't see that, but Dom getting through as well as Baza now clears his main man, as we now look at Magic Poop Cannon then passing Red Bull Kim as Baza does the same. Red Bull Kim well out of the way there, and he drops to 9th position as Magic Poop Cannon looks to try and exert revenge.
Chris Johnson almost collides at Mick Schumacher there, but he just got through. That could have ended in tears. We've got a yellow flag out, so I think there's a car's gone off there. It is Mick Schumacher, in fact, as they go through Red Bull Kim and Alex Zafra now side by side. Can Alex Zafra get the position done, get the move complete? He can't, right? Red Bull Kim stays ahead just.
Red Bull Kim fending off Alex Zafra, then Chris Johnson losing a little bit of ground then behind these two at the minute. Needs to try and get the moves done to stay within range of Magic Poop Cannon. And here comes Alex Zafra then on the inside of Red Bull Kim. That would have been brave, and I think that was the right decision to back out behind him.
Chris Johnson seriously needs to get past at least Red Bull Kim, doesn't he? Because you can see there's a gap, 2 seconds now between Red Bull Kim and Magic Poop Cannon as further in front. Dom Smith gets ahead of Shepard now to go into 5th place, although it looks like he might try and get this back. Shepard uses a big chunk of the curb. Got to be so careful going around here, and this might open the door fairly easily for Baza to come through, and Magic Poop Cannon as well. As Red Bull Kim, is Alex Zafra finally going to get past? No, he still can't get through.
Action everywhere at the minute as Chris Johnson now lines up the pair of them. He's through then on Red Bull Kim, it would seem. Alex Zafra moves across to give Kim the toe to make things a little bit more difficult for the championship leader, who gets around the outside of Kemus, as does Blow and Wheelnut, and now Chris Johnson can set his sights on Alex Zaffro. He pulls alongside, and with the DRS surely open, not yet actually, and he is going to be through and up a place. Alex Zaffro trying to get back alongside into turn one. He couldn't do that, and Chris is now up a place.
And Magic Poop kind of made slight contact with Shepard as well as he went to go through. But again, I don't think, luckily for him, any damage has been made to the car. But he got very close as Poop Cannon now then into 7th, Chris Johnson into 9th. There's only one car separating them now as Alex Zaffro and Blow and Wheelnut go side by side. Alex Zaffro goes almost on the other circuit there as Blow and Wheelnut's got a penalty for that.
Yeah, we're not doing the outer loop, Alex. You have to check the map, but he's back. Oh, nearly runs into the back there of Blow Milnut, just about avoids him and did well to avoid him, and he's up and running again in 11th place. But just for a brief moment there, the next car up the road was Magic Poop Cannon for Chris Johnson, but just as he got his move done, Magic Poop Cannon cleared M-Shet, but it wasn't without its drama, Dan. You said there was contact.
Yeah, there was contact, but it was at a very slow speed, just a little bit of contact, but he still made the move. At the front then, we're about to head to lap 7 halfway through this race, and Jacko is once again lining Sayer Sports up here. I wonder when these guys are going to pit on the soft tyres, because they're going to come out and have a lot of overtaking to do if they want to make up positions at the end of the race. As Dom now gets into 4th place, Dom is looking in a very solid position right now.
Yeah, 169 races without a win. I wonder why he slipped that stat into the little cheat sheet we get every week. Is it because he fancied his chances round here, man? What do you think?
Perhaps he did, and it's working well for him so far, isn't it? As we just have a look now at the so Shepard's pit. Chris Johnson is through then, and it's Chris Johnson in 8th, Magic Poop Cannon in 7th, and there's 2 seconds separating them. Magic Poop Cannon is half a second behind Chris's teammate Bazza.
So, as it stands, Dom would win 25 points, Bazza would get 18, Poop Cannon would get 15, he would gain 3 on Chris Johnson, and it would give him a 2-point lead in the World Championship. Dan, this is set up beautifully.
It is, isn't it? It's fantastic, and I wonder what will happen in Silverstone. I wonder what the weather will be like in Silverstone as well. We all know what that can be like, to add an extra little double 6 into play as they make the way. Chris Johnson makes his way through this ever so awkward corner as he's dropping back a little bit from Magic Poop Cannon now. Can't maintain the pace up front, so he's probably going to have to hope for possibly some sort of collision for Magic Poop Cannon if he wants to get ahead at this stage or another spot.
I've got to say that in recent weeks, Chris Johnson, his pace has tailed off, hasn't it, towards the second half of the season, especially the final third of the season, and it's beginning to suffer now. You know, he was just about, bobbing his head above the water, just staying within reach and staying ahead of Magic Poop Cannon. But I think maybe at this final couple of weeks, it might be about to take a final and decisive twist. We'll wait and see as Magic Poop Cannon makes his way past Stereogram. Bazza has already done so, and he should be through in the braking zone, and he is. And I think it's absolutely vital now for Chris Johnson that Bazza keeps Magic Poop Cannon behind.
It is indeed, yes. So, well, Bazza wasn't playing a team game before, but let's see how long he can hold up Magic Poop Cannon perhaps and allow Chris Johnson to close in maybe before the end of this race. Yeah, Chris Johnson won 5 of the first 8 races of the season, and then he won the 12th race of the season, and he hasn't won since, and this is round 21, so he definitely had a drop in pace in this final third, I suppose, of the season.
What do you put that down to, Dan? It's a difficult one to try and explain, but what would be, if you were to try and put your finger on it, what would it be?
I'm really not sure. To be honest, it's basically just getting a bit, just sort of nerves, I suppose.
Has the field been more competitive?
That you wouldn't normally do. Definitely, I would say a lot of drivers have improved as the season's gone on for sure. The likes of Jacko and then the Renaults have come in, and talking of the Renaults, one of them's out the race.
And that has happened, and that is a safety car, and what a moment that is for Sayer Sports and Jacko. Wow, that could blow this race wide open again, and Sayer Sports and Jacko are pouring into the pits right now, and they're going to have fresh rubber and a real chance of affecting the race result and championship. What drama in TGP2 once again.
So Magic Poop kind of stays out. Chris Johnson, of course, then also stays out. Stereogram stayed out. I'm not sure why, because he really should have pitted there. So it's just Jacko and Sayer Sports in the pit lane then, and we'll see where these guys come out. Nell Jack coming in as well. So, but as you say, with this safety car restart, they are going to be flying.
Absolutely. They're going to be really fast. They're 9th and 10th in the order, but they're going to be backed right up behind the safety car and with a real chance to make some progress, and especially on the likes of Chris Johnson, who's only 5th in the field at the minute. So this might not hurt Buchanan as much because they might not get there in time, but it could affect Chris Johnson more. I mean, anything could happen really, but what a victory this could be for Sayre Sports and Jacko. They've won a watch with that. But back to the incident, I think Sir Tom Penguin, inside curb, we saw it in qualifying, and inside curb, up the hill, spat him out, across the track and into the wall and out of this race.
Yeah, that would certainly be the most, I didn't see it, but that certainly would be the most logical conclusion from that instant there. And he was running quite well, wasn't he? He set the fastest laps here, Tom Penguin. But he now is in the wall and is the third retirement from this race. And we are set for some finish now then. Let's not forget about Neljak as well, and Mick Schumacher also on fresh softs. They might be able to make some moves as well if the likes of Jacko and Sayre Sports can also get through. And Red Bull Kim indeed, yeah.
Come on. Well, that was good, that was clever. 3-second penalty under safety car for Red Bull Kim. He'll be kicking himself for that. That was a bit careless, but he is on fresh soft tyres, and he might make some progress up through the field as well. But a very good spot there. Those three drivers as well behind Sayre Sports and Jacko could be making some progress. I'm looking at the likes of Flo Milner and Alex Zaffro in the hards. They are going to be extremely vulnerable, aren't they?
Yeah, they could be in some serious trouble, especially at the immediate restart. Tyres might not be totally up to temperature on those hard tyres once we get going again. But if Dom wins, by the way, he was, of course, it was last season, wasn't it, that Mike Noonan overtook him as the most wins in TGP2. If Dom does win, he'll be back to just one behind Mike now. He'll be on 30, it'll be his 30th TGP2 win after 169 races. And Stereogram finally pitched that into that, moves Chris Johnson up into 4th. I wonder if Chris Johnson might fancy a go Magic Buchanan at the restart.
You feel like he's got to, doesn't he? You feel like he's got to. He doesn't have the pace on him, so he's got to try and frighten him. He's got to do something, because at the minute he's going to lose his championship lead going into this finale.
He is indeed. I just wonder if what Bazza will do. If Bazza will get involved, he's also on the hard tyres as well. And look, you see them right next to each other, Chris Johnson and Magic Buchanan here. He's always trying to overtake him already, as they had to slow down there, let him back through. But the two contenders, 1 point separating them, literally just meters separating them right now on this safety car. This is perfect.
It's epic. It really is. It's the season like no other. As we said at the top of the show, we've gone from country to country, continent to continent, and we've came back to Bahrain on the full layout. We'll go back to Silverstone on the full layout later, and we have got the championship still finely poised at round 21 and 22 of this thrilling season. And in amongst it all, we've barely had time to touch on it. We did briefly there. Tom Smith is going to try and end a 169 race drought without a victory in TGP2, and we've barely had time to talk about it because the championship is far more important. What about Bazza? Is he now at this stage going to try and help his teammate? He's got a great opportunity to do so. If Magic Buchanan goes for a move, will he hang him out on the outside and allow a route for Chris to get through? Will he just sit there and hold Magic Buchanan up and do what Hamilton did to Rosberg in 2016 to try and get the rest of the guys involved? What will Bazza do? What's his role? Or is he purely going out there to try and win this race? All will be answered in the next few minutes, because the safety car is about to pull in and we're about to go racing in the penultimate round here in Bahrain.
I think Bazda might just try and go for the lead immediately. That'll be his immediate focus. But if he can't get past Dom, then as you say, maybe he might try and make it a bit difficult for Mike Buchanan and as easy as possible for Chris Johnson. But let's not forget Blown Wheelnut as well. He's got a penalty, but he's also right there behind Chris.
That's a very good point. He's going to be struggling on those tyres though. And of course, don't forget Sayre Sports and Jacko and Neljak as we get going once again. Bazza did not get the ideal getaway, but he's going to get that slipstream from Dom Smith, which might just bail him out. Chris Johnson, some 8/10 off the back of this trio, going into turn 1. Magic Buchanan fancies his chances right away, goes for the outside line, but he can't do it. And Bazza, the Welshman, holds on, but he's got a fantastic drive, a sensational drive off the corner. Bazza squeezes Buchanan up against the edge of the track. Now Buchanan down the inside, there could be contact. There it is. round. Half spin for Buchanan, and Chris Johnson sails through. That's the last thing he needed to do. Contact with Baza, and Magic Buchanan slides down the order behind Baza and behind, crucially, his main rival in the championship, Chris Johnson. The gap will now increase to 4 instead of reduced to 2.
Well, he counted himself fortunate, really. They didn't lose more positions there. He done well to save that and just turn it into a half spin instead of a proper one, because he would have gone way down the order. And in fact, he's right. He's almost landing up Chris Johnson. He could go back through here.
He's thinking about it.
Oh, he had to back out of it.
He did. I think he was always going to. I don't think that move from Chris Johnson would have changed his thought process, because there was a slight move from Chris, almost a hesitant move across the track just to say, don't think about it round there. And at the minute, Buchanan remains in 4th position. Chris Johnson running in 3rd, which, let's be honest, is unbelievable. We'd never have thought this a few moments ago, but he is now ahead of Magic Buchanan, and once again Magic Buchanan appears like he might be failing to convert a pole position into a victory. As we go across the line, it's still Tom Smith on lap 12 out of 14 in the lead of this race. Baz is 2nd, Chris is 3rd, and Buchanan running in 4th, trying everything he can, and now he's got a rear gunner and Lone Wheelnut in 5th.
The fight through the field for Say Sports and Jacko has not gone incredibly well. In fact, it's actually worked incredibly well for Neljak, though, on the soft tyres. He's in 7th, behind 2 drivers who have penalties right now. It's looking good for him.
He's absolutely flying, and I would be quite concerned if that was Magic Buchanan, because he should make easy meat of these 2 hard runners in front, and then Buchanan will really need to start getting defensive. So, you know, I think the best method of defence for Buchanan now is to attack Chris Johnson, because here comes Neljak already on Alex Afro in the middle sector, not an area of the track where you usually see an overtake, but such is the difference in the tyres. This should be candy from a baby. On the exit of the corner, he's got a chance to get into the slipstream, but at the minute Alex Afro holds on, but Neljak could be staring at a fine result here if he can clear these 2 very quickly indeed.
Absolutely, yeah, and it will all be down, of course, to making that pit stop. 2nd time round, Magic Buchanan then 4/10 behind Chris now. It's not going to be DRS, is it, next lap? It'll be DRS for the final lap, I believe, will it not? As he goes a little bit wide there. It might have got a warning for that, but no penalty, and he's beginning to line up. Bazza, of course, has a penalty, so I wonder if we could have a situation here where Chris manages to finish ahead of Bazza on penalty. Magic Buchanan doesn't, but saying that, look at that exit.
That's a poor exit from Chris Johnson, and look at that, side by side, the 2 championship rivals go across the line, and Magic Buchanan gets himself back in front. Chris Johnson tries the inside. That's a late move from Buchanan. It was a little bit too late. It was quite naughty, and the deserved outcome is that Chris Johnson is through. That was naughty from Buchanan, it has to be said, and he loses out correctly to Chris Johnson in that one. That was a Schumacher-esque Jerez 97 move.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you there. He was definitely under the braking zone. A quick little chop to the right there by Magic Buchanan, wasn't it, when Chris Johnson was alongside, and they could have easily both got into a spin there. Chris Johnson instead makes the position and gets ahead. Magic Buchanan down in 4th. Chris Johnson a little bit wide into that corner. This still isn't over, I don't think, between these 2.
Look at Neljak, he's cleared Zafro, and now is on the case of Lone Wheelnut, and he should clear him very quickly indeed. And then Chris Johnson and Magic Buchanan will be on the retreat on this final lap. Oh, Neljak could really throw a spanner in the works of this championship, as Baza has a penalty, I believe.
He does, yeah, Baza has the penalty, and Chris Johnson is 2.3 seconds behind right now, so it's going to be close, really, in terms of, I don't know if Baza, they're probably going to stay within 3 seconds of Baza, unless, of course, he spends so much time fighting on this final lap, and once again, Buchanan is closing in.
He is closing in. We're going to see a repeat of what we saw in the previous lap. Baza now within half a second of Tom Smith, by the way, going across the line. But we have to stick with the 2 championship rivals once again crossing the line. Hopefully there won't be contact this time round. Chris Johnson looks like he's got the upper hand. He's out of battery as Buchanan. He's still going to go down the inside very, very late on the brakes. That's going to be very close. He gets it through. Chris Johnson's still hanging in there, and he pushes him out onto the curb, and Buchanan is through. Wow, that was some move from Buchanan. Chris Johnson's coming back. Came back again, but couldn't quite get it done. And this is getting pretty desperate now. Their saving grace is that Neljak is somehow still stuck behind Lone Wheelnut. If he wasn't, he'd be all over this pair.
Well, look how close it is as well. There's 2.9 seconds from Bazza in 2nd place, 2.6 now. This is going to be really close as well with the extra. And Bazza's through. Bazza's got through, but he will have a penalty for 3 seconds. and Dom will still win unless Baza suddenly has the most incredible end to a race ever.
Dom let him go. He was not interested in that one. He knows this championship is won. Sorry, this race is won. Regardless of that, Baza looked to be going pretty slowly there. Is he going to try and slot himself in between Puttkanen and Chris? Surely not. It is looking
Surely he won't.
It's looking like both drivers are going to finish outside, so he won't go in between them at the minute. It's going to plan. It's going to be so close to see whether it's Baza second or Puttkanen second, isn't it? It's going to be incredibly close. Because Chris Johnson at the minute is surely going to be at the very least in between, if not behind. Across the line they go. Baza will win the race on the track, but Dom Smith ends a 169 race drought without a victory. Puttkanen, he is in between. He is in between. That is a disaster for Chris Johnson. Was that deliberate from Baza? We'll have to wait and see.
Wow. I mean, look at that. There is a tenth. A tenth. The Puttkanen gets ahead. Oh, that is incredible. That is unbelievable. A fortunate result there for Puttkanen, and instead of 2 points going into the final race, it's going to be, I believe, 5 points now. He'll be ahead.
Wow, absolute chaos here in Bahrain. Chaos in a good way. Great action out there. Dom Smith, 169 races without a win. Well, that is now over. He has done it at long last. His first win since season 21. It's a victory here in Bahrain for him at the penultimate round of the season. That should be the headline story, but it's all about the championship. So many twists and turns throughout the race, and in the end, it's Magic Puttkanen who takes the lead going into the final round. Interesting stuff from Baza there. That is one to discuss at the end of this race. But it is Dom Smith
indeed
that wins by 1.9 seconds in the end with that Baza penalty. Baza, that is controversial, slots himself in between Magic Puttkanen who's second, Baza third, Chris Johnson fourth. Neljak comes home fifth. What a drive from him, what a strategy from him, a bit of luck for the safety car, and it worked out brilliantly. Sayre Sports was sixth, Chiako seventh, Blown Wilnut eighth, Alex Safro ninth, and Mr. John completes the top 10. Blue Girls is next, Indecisive, Mick Schumacher, Red Bull Kim, Stereogram, M Shep, Kaya, Tom Penguin, Parsa, and Angel versus Death. What a finish to Bahrain. I don't think my throat can take much more of this, Dan. It was struggling after the Euros, but it's struggling even more now.
Yeah, Baz's final sector was 22.2, and it was only a tenth off his quickest of the race, which was on the previous lap. So I don't think he deliberately backed off or anything or tried to manufacture that. It would be quite difficult to try and manufacture it.
Yep.
But I think it's just an unbelievable, just coincidence almost for Puttkanen that he managed to just get ahead and just slot in between. But it means going into the final race, we've got 365 points for Puttkanen, 360 for Chris Johnson. Of course, if it wasn't for that extra position, that would just be a 2 point gap. Instead, it's 5 points.
Wow, what a wild series of events we've seen here in Bahrain, and I think you're right. I think that tells us everything we need to know. You know, we've got to try and bring the controversy to the league racing, don't you? You never know. Baza, of course, chose to pit when Chris Johnson needed to stop, wasn't interested in helping him, and that made you think maybe there was something more sinister going on. But going by what you said, only a tenth down on his previous best, I think that puts that one to bed. Baza was just driving his own race, and it was just a complete coincidence that he managed to get in between them, and I think Toto Wolff will be pulling his hair out. That's what happens when you get two top drivers in a top team, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, and of course, if Dom did not let Baza through, then you have to imagine it would have been even tighter. So Baza would have been fourth, and Chris Johnson would have actually got third.
Yep.
So Dom letting Baza through actually might have certainly helped Puttkanen there, you have to say.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. But I mean, Dom again, he's just running his own race. He just wants to make sure that he gets that win, and manages to break his duck after that 169 race wait. He's ended it at long last. So I've got to ask you, Dan, driver of the day from that one.
Driver of the day, I suppose, would probably have to be Dom. He's and I was so busy watching Baza at the restart, I didn't notice that Dom also managed to get round Puttkanen as well. So I think there was like 3 cars, and one of them went quite deep, and Dom managed to sneak through. So I think you have to give it to Dom after such a long time. And he's just one race behind now in the all-time list from Mike, from Equal and Mike's 31 races.
Yep, well, Dom moving up, and he'll be delighted to have ended that barren spell before the end of the season. He won't have to rest on that one, but here we are then. Final round, 5 points. The gap in the championship in favour of Magic Poop Cannon. Absolutely incredible. I've got to ask you, how do you see this one going, Dan? I've got to ask you to go on, give me a name. Who's winning this championship? I remember early in the season, I think you went Chris and I went Poop Cannon. I'm sticking with Poop Cannon. Are you changing anything?
I'll stick with Chris, shall I? But I'm just looking here at betnoon.com. The odds have just updated, and Chris Johnson is now 5-1 to win it now at this stage. So Andy is Magic Poop Cannon is certainly the firm favourite with the bookies right now. Chris Johnson, it's going to have to take something special from him. So say betnoon.com.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree. It will take something special, but at 5-1, I think that's quite generous odds. I'm a betting man. I fancy Magic Poop Cannon, but at 5-1, I actually fancy slipping a wee fiver on that one, Dan. Gamble responsibly, folks. When the fun stops, stop.
Indeed.
But no, I quite like that. 5-1, I think that's quite generous. But here we are then. This is it. This is where the fun starts. Qualifying for the British Grand Prix, the final round of the TGP2 season. Beautiful sun-splitting skies for this, and it's going to be a fine race to end the season, and it should be a cracker, Dan. Anyone could win this finale, and it could be quite the showdown. Hopefully we will see.
And this was the race. This I mean, I know obviously there's a lot more corners around here, but this was the race where Tom Penguin got pole in the Silverstone short, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, Dan.
So,
it was. So anything can happen. It was, of course, a short layout, wasn't it? So you never know. It's going to be a lot harder around a much longer circuit, but you would fancy a little surprise. We've seen so many in the later end of the season, and I just want to touch on what we spoke about earlier on in that race last time out about Chris Johnson's dip in form. I mean, not winning since round 12, but he just somehow seems to hang around, doesn't he? Stay in the battle, but it does appear that the more competitive the field has got, the more he struggled. Perhaps maybe at the start of the season, when he had a poor qualifying by his standards, he was still in the top 4 in the order, so he was able to win the race from there. But it's much more difficult to win the race from 7th or 8th, isn't it?
That's a really good point. That is a very, very good point. And the amount of the difference in pole positions between the two of them this season has been absolutely huge. Poop Cannon has had 10 pole positions, and Chris has only had 2. So I think that really says it all in terms of starting from the front of the grid and on one lap pace anyway.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? It shows such a big difference. But it's going to be an interesting race here. Qualifying, not usually a track like this the most important. You can overtake, Dan. I mean, it is one of my favourites to commentate on. I actually said in the podcast I did with Mike, this is probably my favourite track to commentate on. I think some of the overtaking round here, the opportunities are quite good, despite in real life, you get the shallow braking zones, but you can actually follow round the corners on the game, and it is quite wide, and you can follow and have a battle side by side for numerous corners. So, it should provide a thrilling finale.
Indeed, yes. And last season, we actually had a wet qualifying session around here, so nothing really to go on from last season in terms of one lap pace. Just start to see where Chris Johnson finished in the race. I think, in fact, the race was also wet here last season. So, fully dry conditions right now. Waiting to find out what the weather will be for the race this time round. We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. There's been plenty of curveballs this season. TGP2 even had a wet race in, Abu Dhabi? And,
Abu Dhabi, yeah.
That didn't go down well. So, we'll have to wait and see. But there could be plenty of twists and turns in this season as we've lost Red Bull Kim. I think he's gone off through Maggots and Beckett's. And unfortunately for Kim, there's not too many pubs and bars around here to go and visit after a crash, so I think he's going to be struggling here.
And speaking of Maggots and Beckett's, that's exactly the place where Magic Pipcan has just invalidated his first lap as well. So he's, I don't know if he's going to come straight into the pits or he's going to go again. He is going to come straight into the pits. So he will have to get an early lap in on the board then. Jacko's got an early lap in on the board in 125.997.
Yep, Jacko then, 125.997 as you say, as Chris Johnson has invalidated his...
He's invalidated as well.
Yeah, he's invalidated his first run, so the pressure boiling here. And not looking good for the two championship rivals. Things boiling over, and the pressure just starting to crank up a notch, and they're feeling it, Dan.
They are indeed, yeah. Parser then goes to the top of the timesheet, 125.8. It's 10th and a bit up on Jacko's lap at the moment. Then Blown Wheelnut in a solid third place. Serton Penguin, oh my word, Serton Penguin nearly lost it there. A few cops just held on to it. He would have been going straight off the session if that went into the wall.
I didn't catch that one, but I'm sure I'll catch it in a moment. I've just got Sears Sports at the end of his lap then, and then we'll pick up the likes of Tom Penguin, who are, just as you say, making their way through that middle part of the lap. As we can see Sears Sports then come towards the line. What's it going to be? He goes fourth quickest, 127.2. Now, as you say, there's a man out there taking quite a few risks, and it's Tom Penguin, but he's bailed out. He's bailed out, and he's had enough from that latest run. So first run's only 9 drivers with a proper time on the board. Who else we got out there then? Mick Schumacher going down the hanger straight and hanging it right out onto the grass there on the way in. And that's not the optimum line, but he's carrying on his merry way into the final couple of corners. Where can he stick the Haas on the grid as he makes his way through the final couple of corners? That long winding right-hander towards the line. It's going to be a 127.1, and he goes fourth quickest at this early stage. But Parsa and Jacko into the 25s nice and early. A good banker, especially from Parsa. 25.5 he's just done.
Yeah, and that's on a second lap as well. That's on a second push lap there for Parsa. So a really good pace, you have to say, early on from Parsa so far. Very good lap.
Very, very strong from Parsa, and you have to wonder if this could be another one of those ones where he comes along and shocks us. What was it, back in Mexico where he won for the first time?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So could this be another race where Parsa shines in the Red Bull? You've got to feel he's one of those drivers that maybe could have competed for this championship, maybe a season too soon on debut. Far too erratic at times, too many offs and moments, but there is certain tracks where things begin to click, and he has got pace. Yeah,
there was certain moments, isn't he, where that messed it up for him. I'd say made specific errors. So does his teammate Cena as well, made errors early on. Remember Suzuka. There's been several times where he's made errors when he's been fighting for the win as well. But as you say, did get that win in Mexico, and if he's here next season, he will. You have to imagine. I mean, it will be a totally different game, of course, but you would have to say he'd probably be one of the favourites.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. As Angel versus Death comes up towards the end of the hanger straight and flings it into Stowe corner, and then heads towards the end of the lap. He's got it really hooked up at the minute. He's on the medium compound, so he's on the slower of the two compounds, but he's gone a little bit deep in there, and that could scupper his latest lap. Let's see what he can do as he comes round the final corner up to the line. It should be an improvement, and it puts him 9th quickest at 1 minute 27.9. The time's beginning to tumble, but that is going to take some beating from Parsa.
So Magic Pipcan is out once again then on another lap on soft tyres, just coming down the Old Star finish straight right now then. Didn't catch the first sector. We'll see if he's flat out through Cobb. Yes, he is indeed.
What a sight that is, Danny. Absolutely wonderful. Now, Maggots, Beckett's. Yeah, that car looks on rails. He's pushing hard. And could he be about to threaten the time of Parsa through the second sector? He will go in a minute. A 1 minute 2.0 through there. And just a couple of corners to go. And then we'll see what his opening stanza is. Let's see as he makes his way up towards the final couple of corners. The pit lane entry on the right hand side, clearing a difficult one. Might see a few drivers picking penalties up there on the race. He was a little bit out of shape on entry there, Pipcan. Carried a little bit too much speed, but it's still looking decent. Oh, very decent. Pole position by a fraction over official Parsa, and I think there was a bit of time in that final sector as well.
Definitely time in the final sector on the entry there, the final chicane, and a little bit wide, but certainly the middle sector looked absolutely perfect on that lap, and he just, as you say, just ahead of Parsa with 9.5 minutes to go. Still got Chris Johnson in the pit lane. Hasn't come back out since he invalidated early on. Still got Bazza at the moment coming around the final corner on the medium tyres. He goes up into 7th place for him for the time being there.
So Bazza up a blaze as Chris Johnson is now finally making his way out the pits, and all the pressure then is being piled on his shoulders here. So many poor qualifyings, he can't afford another one, especially now that he trails in this championship. His Magic Poop Cannon, by the way, doesn't look to be hanging around here. As he goes around there again, I don't think it's a quick one though. Let's see.
He's invalidated.
Yeah, he's invalidated. As Parsa starts an outlap, Jacko out there on a quick one, nope, bailed out.
Oh, to say Blown Wheelnut was on a quick one as well, but I think he had a moment going through Cops and was on the old pit exit. Didn't catch it, but he was flying in the first sector. But now he's back out and he's invalidated his lap.
Bazza out there as well. I don't know if this is a particularly quick. No, he's bailed right out of it. He's in mode 0, sorry. Who else? Dom Smith then, winner last time out. Had to shuffle around the order a little bit to pick up someone going quickly, but we do have one now. And Dom Smith making his way through the middle sector, and that's the right line, right over to the right hand side, open up the entry to Maggots, then into Beckett's. And Dom Smith, they're all under control, not spectacular, but smooth, clean, tidy, and it should move him up the order. He is 1.1 down on what Magic Poop Cannon did up to this point, but it should move him up into the top 5, you would think.
I think through Maggots and Beckett's, he was a little bit off, wasn't he, on the line through there, possibly breaking a little bit too much into the second part of that corner as he comes through the final part. He certainly got through there a lot better than what Poop Cannon did, though, has to be said. We'll see if he improves and he goes up into 5th place.
126.8 then from Dom Smith. Blair Grills immediately pips him by a fraction. Does look like there's going to be quite a field spread around here, doesn't there, Dan? That might close up in the closing moments as everyone gets a feel for it, but it certainly does seem that there could be quite a field spread. No doubt about it. It's Jacko. Is he on a quick lap at the minute? He's in...
I think he is. He's just gone a little... He's about a tenth almost quicker. That's wide, and that's an invalidation.
Yep. Easy to do it, isn't it, around that part of the lap? And that's a disaster for him. As Parsa is out there now. Let's see what his first sector is like. He looks like the only man at the minute that will be able to topple Magic Poop Cannon. First sector, how's it looking? No, he's well down, 1.1 off the pace on his latest run, Parsa. Let's see if we can pick up Chris Johnson then, starting his first sector, 27.2 through the first sector, Dan. Is that good? I'm not sure.
Not entirely sure. I think Blown Wheelnut on his lap before was on a 27.1, I think, when he made the header through Cops. So he's still got possibly some time to find. We'll see what he's like. Let's see if he can go through Cops flat out.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, no, he's not. He had to back out of that. He had to get off the throttle pedal. He was a bit too wide coming into the corner. Certainly would have lost time through there.
He's not enjoying himself out there. He doesn't look to be at one with the car. And the scruffy end to the season looks to be continuing for Chris Johnson. He's 19th at the minute. He's 8 tenths down on what Poop Cannon did up to this point. That because of the field spread, it might be enough to move him into the top 4 or 5 places here. Let's see what he can do as he comes towards the end of the lap. Out the way, gets indecisive. Couple of corners left for Chris Johnson, and he needs a big lap right now. 6 minutes to go. He's last at the minute. This should move him up, and it moves him up into that 5th place. He needs more though.
Definitely needs more, and well, I mean, we can all, simply just by watching both of the laps, we could already tell that he wasn't going flat through Cops, and Poop Cannon was, so certainly losing time through there without an absolute shadow of a doubt. And we know Magic Poop Cannon's got time to find in the final sector as well. I have to say, early, well, it's not early, but we're 10 minutes into the session now. It's looking pretty good. 30 minutes in, looking pretty good for Poop Cannon, isn't it? You have to say, in terms of his battle with Chris Johnson. Parsa could beat Poop Cannon though. Parsa's just had a decent first sector.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick him up then. Well, we're on board with him now. Let's see what Parsa can do. Needs a big lap. That's how to attack. That's how to attack. Too much, and he goes for a spin across the old pit lane entry, exit, and he's well out the firing line, and he will live to fight for another day. But Parsa certainly pushing hard out there in typical Parsa fashion, perhaps a little too hard.
Again, he's just too wide on the corner entry. I mean, sometimes if you go too tight, though, of course, you end up going on the curb, and you just spin earlier on, even earlier in the corner. It's you have to be so perfect to get that corner right, and Parsa on that occasion got it very wrong and almost was in the barrier, but got away with it. And if he pits, he should get another fresh set of tyres on and be able to set one more lap.
Yeah, well, look who's out there now. Magic Poop Cannon looking to stretch his advantage. It's a 27-1 for the first sector. He's half a tenth up on his previous best. Are things beginning to align for Magic Pupcan, who took the championship lead going into this game, this race? And is this going to be a decisive moment in this race? Is he going to be wide? That's wide, and that is another invalidated lap. So many people coming a cropper at Cobbs.
Yeah, absolutely, and he was very lucky there, wasn't he? He didn't do a passer and go spinning around like a top there, but he got away with it. I wonder what he's going to do here. Is he going to pit, or is he going to go for another lap? If I were him, I think I'd probably pit and put a new set of tyres on for the final run. I think he'd just about have enough time, because there's an incredibly long pit lane, let's not forget, around here at a very low speed as well, and he does indeed pit.
Yep, into the pits then comes Blow Mailnut. Jacko out there, starting another flying lap. What's he got? 4 tenths away from pole position at the minute. You feel he's maybe one of the outsiders with a chance to get in amongst it again. Front row last time out. What about this time? Let's see what that first sector's like. Low 27 keeps him in the running. 25, 26. What's it going to be? 27.2. 2 tenths up on his previous best through there. Not the fastest we've seen, but it is a good start.
Yeah, it's a very good start, and going through around Lovefield, then this looks good so far. Sort of just put the wheel over the white line a little bit there, you can get away with it. Get ready through to Cops then. It takes a lot of, on the outside on the curb, Love, that's perfect. That was a perfect run through there. And see what it's like through Magden Beckett's once again.
Oh, that
little
looks good.
lift here, the brakes. This looks very, very quick.
This looks excellent from Jacko. Let's see that middle sector. Oh, he's a fraction down on Magic Poop Cannon, but he is going quicker. I think it's going to be a tall order to get in amongst the top two, but it will strengthen his position in third. What's he got in his final sector? He's certainly pushing, and he certainly looks like one of the drivers out there with more confidence than some of the others. Jacko then, in that racing point, makes his way round the final couple of corners. Where can he put the racing point? He stays third, but improves his time by just under 2 tenths of a second, and that will do him no harm at all.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he can take a little bit more speed through Stowe as well. That would have gained him a little bit of time. I think he was a bit too caught on the inside curb as he went through there and lost a bit of time. But I don't think he's going to get another lap in now, is he? So he will be no higher than third place, but still decent lap for his final lap of the season.
Yep, absolutely.
And Chris is still in the pit lane here with 1 minute, and so is Poop Cannon as well, with 1 minute 40 seconds to go.
Poop Cannon making his way down the pit lane now, I think, but I don't think it's going to happen in time. Needs to be very quick.
And I guess Chris coming out. Chris is just coming out, leaving the box. Now he's got to do it. He's the first garage, isn't he, in the Mercedes? He's got to go all the way along.
He's out. It's over. There's no way. There is no way. He's mistimed it completely, has Chris Johnson. His session is over. It's 7th at best for him. Magic Poop Cannon will get out there just in time to do a hot lap and extend his advantage. What a disaster down at Mercedes. Things have just unravelled throughout the session. There's just no explanation for that.
I can't believe that. Has he got that so wrong? There's 1 minute to go, and he's having to pop up and let other cars through now, and it's over for him.
By the way, Sir Tom Penguin, purple through the first sector. He just went 4th quickest. Is he about to show us what he did at Silverstone Short all over again? Where has this came from? In the middle of the order throughout the entirety of the session thus far. Keep it within the white lines. He does. Is this a late run for glory from Sir Tom Penguin? Loves it round here. Pole position on Silverstone Short. That looked a little bit slow. Let's see where he is through the middle sector. 2 tenths down
good
on pole, but should be enough to get him into 3rd place at least here. What a run this is from Sir Tom Penguin.
I think Baz is about to improve big time as well for the final corner, and he does indeed go on pole.
Big lap from Baza. It makes things a little bit more difficult for Magic Poop Cannon. It makes things a little bit easier for Chris, but it does demote him down to 8th now. Here comes Tom Penguin. What's he going to do? He stays 4th quickest, but does improve his time. 125.7.
Further on then down the field, and Poop Cannon's going again there for one more lap. I don't know if Baz is going to push you one more lap, but I tell you what, it might get a bit of a tow yet. Baz immediately gets out the way. He doesn't want to be giving Poop Cannon any sort of tow at all. Just want to see what Dom can do at the end of his lap right now. Don't think he's going to go anywhere near pole, but he could improve certainly into the top 7, top 8 maybe. Can he get ahead to Chris Johnson? No, he cannot.
It's a far cry from the fun of Bahrain for Dom Smith, isn't it? Nowhere near the same pace, but Magic Buchanan is setting the timing screens alight. 26.9 through the first sector. Keep it in the lines. He does. And is he about to retake pole and move himself into pole position and put one hand on that trophy? Let's see if he can. Lining himself up through the middle sector. What's it going to be? It's a 102.1. I don't think it's going to be enough. It needs to be an almighty final sector from Buchanan. We've seen an almighty final sector in Bahrain from him at the end of qualifying. That was pushing it to the very limit there. It looks like he's giving it absolutely everything. It's going to be second at worst. Can he go and make it pole? That's a little bit out of shape. Here comes Magic Buchanan for the line. Yes! He's done it again! What a finish to the session again from Magic Buchanan, the king of the final sector. It's back-to-back poles. When he needed it most, he denies Baza by 300ths. What a final sector, and we could see how hard he was pushing through Stowe.
It was amazing. It was monstrous stuff through Stowe, and of course on a previous lap he made the error, didn't he, going into the final chicane. He didn't that time. He managed to hook it up perfectly, and he has just beat Baza to pole, and it's his 11th pole of the season. So he's had pole in half of the races in this 22 race season.
Absolutely unbelievable stuff here from Magic Buchanan. He really is starting now to motor towards that championship. Can anyone stop him? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a tall order now for Chris Johnson. If he wants to deny him, there is your qualifying order for the final race of season 28. It's Magic Buchanan on pole with a 5-point lead in the championship, well positioned to go and clinch his first title. Baza second for Mercedes, Parsa third, Sir Tom Penguin back up at the front where he belongs with a fine effort once again at Silverstone. He loves it here in fourth. Jacko was fifth, Blown Wheelnut is sixth, Blair Grill seventh, it's Chris in eighth, and Eljack ninth, and Sayre Sports 10th. Safro, Smith, then Angel versus Death, Indecisive, Mick Schumacher, M. Shep, Stenogram, Mr. John, and Red Bull Kim, who found his way into the wall early on in the session, going through Maggots and Beckett's, Dan.
So Chris Johnson down in 8th place then because of that bizarre moment, just left it way too late, coming out the pit lane at the end of the session, and well, the odds going into the quali were 5-1. I think they're going to be a little bit longer now. Would you say, Andy?
Yeah, I would say so. And if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't be backing him at 5-1 anymore, Dan. I think it's going to be a tall order, but I mean, come on, we know how crazy TGP2 can be. There could be a curveball at any moment to really mix things up. So it's going to be some watch. You don't want to go anywhere, folks. It's far from done. It's going to be a thrilling finale to what has been a sensational season. Both sides, both championship contenders have just been fantastic to watch. So many ups, so many downs for both drivers. Let's see how it all ends. Will it be Buchanan? Will it be Chris Johnson? We'll find out here at Silverstone as the finale of the season is go. It's a good start from Buchanan. It's a fantastic start from Magic Buchanan. It's exactly what he needed as he makes his way into turn one, well clear of Baza, with Sir Tom Penguin up to third, Parsa down to fourth. But where is Chris Johnson? We've got a Racing Point off in the background, but it looks like Chris Johnson is right in the thick of the action. He's up one place, he's up to seventh, and now immediately he has to set his sights on the cars in front, Dan.
Really solid start for Chris Johnson. He nearly got Blown Wheelnuts as well, but Blown Wheelnuts in the end has actually ended up getting Jacko, and Jacko's into 6th place. Can Chris Johnson go around the outside to get Jacko? Vic Schumacher's out the race, might get a safety car with that. It's still side by side, Blown Wheelnut and Jacko just ahead of Chris Johnson.
And it looks like Blown Wheelnut's going to hold on, but Jacko's wide, don't want to be out there, and that might just give a little bit of hope to Chris Johnson.
He's going to have a run.
Oh, he's going to have a great run, in fact. He moves to the right and then jigs back to the left. He thinks better of it. He will be compromised on entry here, Jacko, and there he goes off the track. And Chris Johnson, this is going to be so close, and he is through and up another place, and it's the start that Chris Johnson needed.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought for a moment there Jacko was going to get on that curve and go sliding into the side of Chris Johnson, but that did not happen. Baza and Buchanan side by side,
and Baza sweeps past and into the lead of the race. Magic Buchanan seemingly not defending that one, and he drops down and into second place. Was that the percentage game from Magic Buchanan?
Probably not really worth fighting, is it? But certainly Chris Johnson needs to fight. He's going to go round blowing wheel nuts here. Is he going to try and get him? Oh, he had to back out of that. He had to back out of it, but he will have a run surely on this lap on blowing wheel nuts.
Encouraging signs for Chris Johnson. We are seeing a pattern that we've seen so many times this season. Buchanan getting pole, dropping back early on, and his main rival recovering from a poor start in qualifying, and that is exactly how this one's panning out as well. You know what it's like, Dan. Come the end of the race, they're going to be together, aren't they?
Probably. It does happen a lot of times throughout the season. It is somehow seen to always inevitably meet at some stage in the closing laps of the Grand Prix. But Chris Johnson can't make any inroads on Brown Wheel Nut this time round. Pass is looking pretty close to Sir Tom Penguin right now, though, for third place.
Sure is. Sir Tom Penguin going for a podium, going for a fine result. Remember that one back in Baku? Had me and Dan in stitches. And hopefully, that's a moment for Sir Tom Penguin. He just about collects it, and I think he might need a couple of bits of toilet roll, because that could be messy in his pants, because that was a big moment.
Safety car,
and we've got a safety car. Who is that? M-Shep off in wall. Where? Exit of Cops. And that could throw a spanner into the works.
Well, that was really interesting, because Sir Tom Penguin obviously made that error, didn't he, and nearly lost it. And then Blurton Wheel Nuts, just behind them, also went very wide. And then Chris nearly got through. And then we got the safety car. So, safety car is then. Let's see who pits.
Oil on the track, perhaps?
He's going to have to queue again. Chris Johnson's going to have to queue again here.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this. This is an absolute disaster for Sir Tom Penguin here. It really is. Sorry, not Sir Tom Penguin, for Chris Johnson. And he's currently running 7th. And look at this. It might not be too bad.
Yeah, it actually wasn't, was it?
He's only just getting the tyres on now. He might only lose a couple of places here. Let's see how he goes. And I don't think it'll have been too bad. Let's see if he's lost any. Certainly lost one there to Jacko. Or was Jacko already behind? I think he might be alright here.
Yeah, I think he possibly will be. As we're seeing out the exit then, so Baz will keep his lead. I thought Baz was going to have to queue behind and wait for everybody to go past, being the first pit lane, but he wasn't. Poop cannon ahead, and in fact, really, the order's fairly stayed quite stable, hasn't it? You would have to say after that.
Yeah, Chris Johnson's got away with the one. He has. It's not been too bad, but as I said before, didn't I? This is the problem you have when you get two top drivers fighting for race wins. Doesn't matter if the championship's over. When you're Baza, you want to win, and he's not interested in Chris Johnson and his championship hopes. He doesn't get employed by Mercedes. He's just having fun in a game, and it's showing here no interest in helping his teammate whatsoever.
Yeah, so Chris Johnson has lost a position to Jacko, but gained a position on Blown Wheel Nuts, so ultimately doesn't really lose anything, you have to say.
Yeah, so things well positioned then for Chris Johnson. Well, not well positioned, but it could have been so much worse. But Magic Poop Can at the minute, playing that percentage game, is just doing what he needs to do. But if you Poop Can, I mean, I know he likes to be cautious and just keep it clean, but he can't afford to lose any more places, because he'll just drop right into the clutches of the cars behind, and he will then put pressure on himself, unnecessary pressure.
He will indeed, yeah. So 3 cars stayed out then. Alex Afro on the softs, Indecisive on the softs, Red Bull Kim on the mediums, so probably was the right decision for Red Bull Kim to stay out this time around, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No real point in him pitting so early on. And hopefully he'll stay out again here, or will he pit? He is pit. No, he's not. He's stayed out. He tries to do the dummy there. So I don't think anybody else is going to be coming into the pit. You might have one of the drivers towards the back, because Angel versus Death, Sayer Sports and Neljack picked up penalties when the safety car was deployed. So I think they'll get that removed at the end of the race. And yeah, nobody comes into the pit lane then for this lap.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to wait and see. Lap 4 then out of 13. How's this going to pan out then at Silverstone? We've got an early safety car after the crash of M-Ship on the exit of Cops Corner. And as it stands, I'm just going to give you the graphics you need at the minute. And there it is, the stops. Alex Afro, Indecisive, Red Bull Kim, yet to stop. That means that Baza is the net leader, Poop Cannon second, Tom Penguin third, Parser fourth, Jackal fifth, and Chris Johnson in 6th. As it stands, Magic Poop Cannon will win this World Championship. If you're Chris Johnson, you really have to win this race, don't you? You cannot finish ahead of Magic Poop Cannon. If you're second and Magic Poop Cannon is third, that will not be enough. It needs to be a 5-point swing or more. And for that, the most likely scenario is to, getting himself into the lead of this race, isn't it, really? I mean, there is so many ways you can crunch the numbers, but that's his best hope.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he could finish, he could finish second and
Buchanan fourth, yeah.
And Buchanan fourth, maybe, but still, even then, even if it was then to go to fastest lap, then I believe Buchanan has more wins, so he would, in fact, no, Maz Buchanan has more wins, doesn't he? So it would go to count back and it would be in his favour. So, yeah, basically, I don't know, Chris Johnson's got to hope for something. He's got to hope for something quite magical to happen here. There's been a lot of times in the season where certain things have happened. Remember, was it Spa, when it was quite a far way back, and then there was various incidents up ahead, and Dom crashed out just in front of him, and it all worked out for him. He needs something like that to happen again, or like in Monaco when the safety car came out and he were able to pit, and he ended up being ahead at the end of the race. I think he finished second, didn't he, after the poor qualifying. He just needs something like that. But I suppose for now, when you have Buchanan and Chris Johnson the exact same strategy, it's possibly going to have to just come down to being some sort of incident, perhaps.
Yeah, he's going to need something very, very special to swing it back his way. Let's see then what's going to happen as we're getting ready to go racing again. The safety car has pulled in, and Alex Zafro then, with Indecisive and Red Bull Kim behind, who have all yet to stop, leads them on their way, and we're back racing at Silverstone on lap 5 out of 13. This could be the run to the flag to the end of the season. Let's see, as Baza already has a little look at Red Bull Kim into turn 1, and Red Bull Kim is out of shape, and Baza now fancies his chance. Will he go down the inside of Red Bull Kim? Yes, he will, and he dives through very, very late in the brakes. Nicely done, in fact, and he goes through. Red Bull Kim now battling away with Buchanan, who breezes past, and now there's contact there. Oh, that's close, and now Tom Pegg goes wide and off the track and loses out quite considerably there. So,
and Chris Johnson gets through as well.
So Chris Johnson through, and that's a favour for him. It gets him another car ahead and closer to his main rival, but other cars have made moves. Let's see now as we go on board with one of the championship contenders, Chris Johnson, looking for a path to get ahead of Red Bull Kim and Jacko. Down the straight they go, the old pit straight. So many historic moments down the years here at Silverstone, and TGP2 is about to add another to the incredible list. At the minute, it's looking good for Buchanan. Chris Johnson needs a medical. Red Bull Kim a little bit out of shape there, as Jacko is all over the back of him, looking for a way through. Now Chris Johnson gets a fantastic exit off the corner. He's only got overtaking news. No DRS at the minute. Laning up Red Bull Kim. Looking left, looking right, goes to the outside. Should be able to sweep through. He does. Next up is Jacko for Chris Johnson, and he's shortening the gap and the number of cars between he and his main rival.
Well, I bet he'll be relieved to get that done then past Red Bull Kim. Indecisive and Alex Zafro were side by side as well there for the lead into Stowe, but Alex Zafro just about managed to stay ahead. Buchanan 2/10 behind Baza. Is Baza going to make it difficult for Buchanan? Tell you what, Buchanan's got a bit of a run here. Is he going to have a go if he's late on the brakes? No, that's probably way too risky. Chris Johnson has once again got to try and get past Jacko.
He does, it's all happening. So Chris versus Jacko, Parsa in between, and then you've got Magic Buchanan, who is essentially going for the lead of this race here. We've got someone off, I think it's Sayre Sports. Yellow flag out, yeah. No sign of a safety car just yet. He'll get back running, and we are now back green as Magic Buchanan, they're a little bit wide, and now Parsa showing a little bit of interest.
So Chris Johnson then, what have you got? You've got to make some crazy moves here. You've got to hope really for Buchanan to get involved in some sort of instance. Parsa actually quite close to Buchanan round here this time round into Cops, and every time they go through there, it just looks like they're going to lose it, doesn't it? It's incredible.
They're all on edge, aren't they? They're all fighting for their lives here. And Chris Johnson and Magic Buchanan especially can't afford to take too big a risk, because it could end their championship dreams that they've been fighting for in the first 21 rounds of this season, spanning over a number of weeks, 11 weeks of drama. And it's all coming down to the action here. Jacko nearly running into the back of Parsa there, out of shape as he went for the move, and that now does set Chris Johnson onto his tail, but still no way through. And at the minute, Chris looks to be stuck there in a bit of a train with a slipstream in front.
Oh, how tempting must it have been for Chris Johnson to just go late on the brakes there and try and make the move on Jacko. Could have caused an incident, but it must have been so tempting for him to do that. Got a little bit of an incident towards the back. I think Blair Grills has gone off, but no safety car or anything at the moment. Still yellow flags, and again Chris Johnson just staring at the back of that racing point.
Yeah, it's all happening. He needs to make something happen now. Baza, by the way, closing in an indecisive. He's got a gap to Poop Cannon, so this is a risk-free move for him. And he's through quite easily, Baza. And he's looking good for the victory here. It doesn't look like it's going to be Magic Poop Cannon's afternoon as he gets close to indecisive. This is an important hurdle he needs to negotiate, and he's got through quite easily in the end on indecisive. Couldn't risk any incident with him, but he got the right opportunity at the right moment, and he clears him, and that's one hear him, scare him moment cleared for Magic Poop Cannon.
So, looking good for Poop Cannon there. I was wondering if indecisive was going to come back and he might have closed in a little bit there, and Baza gets a penalty, so it's even better for Poop Cannon. All his Christmases are coming at once.
Yep, it's all starting to fall into place for Magic Poop Cannon. Chris Johnson needs a miracle. He needs to make moves, and he needs to make them now. Parson makes one on indecisive, but that is not a driver that's in contention.
Poop Cannon has a penalty.
Oh, wow. 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 Magic Poop Cannon.
That could change things possibly.
That is a seismic moment in this World Championship battle. Magic Poop Cannon, 3-second time penalty when he didn't need to get one, has just thrown this championship wide open once again. I've got no option but to change this to gap to the leader. So let's try and work it out.
Sorry, Johnson almost hit the back of Jacko there.
Chris Johnson will be ahead of Magic Poop Cannon at the minute. He will be ahead. He's within 3 seconds of the leader, let alone Magic Poop Cannon. Poop Cannon now needs to make moves. He has to make moves. He's got no choice. How things can change so quickly. One penalty, and now Poop Cannon is not in the defensive. He's the man that needs to go in the attack now. Unbelievable.
Wow. Can you imagine if we were to get some sort of safety car now as well to bunch the field up at the very end? I'll have a check in the moment to see how close Chris Johnson is to penalties. Poop Cannon is still right on the edge of Baza there, and he knows now he needs to sort of get some moves done and start building a bit of a gap again.
Alex Afro is Chris Johnson's friend here. He is the cork in the champagne bottle. He's bunching the field up, and now Baza has had enough being corked up in that bottle because he's moving to the outside, the Welshman. Can he get the move done? Oh, he can get it done. He sweeps through. Just like Wales did, sweeping through the European group, the Welshman makes a move and Zafro scatters into the pits, and now the field can bolt, and now we get to see the pace of Magic Poop Cannon because he needs it now.
Oh, Pass has a bit of a moment there towards the penultimate corner, and Jacko's going to just go round the outside. Great move there by Jacko.
Big move from Jacko, and now Chris Johnson really needs to start making inroads. He needs to start making moves because with the field now less compressed with that Alex Zafro pit stop, you do feel if he gets stuck there, the front two will bolt. Chris Johnson, both drivers need to go in the attack here. Both of them do. Everyone, both of them need to take risks. And this is exactly what we wanted after 22 rounds of racing. Tension, drama, right to the last here in TGP2. Jacko trying everything to keep Parsa back. Now Chris Johnson's interested, trying to slingshot out of the corner, but there's no way through for Chris Johnson at the minute, Dan.
Chris Johnson is on 2 warnings, so one more and it will be a penalty for him as well.
He cannot afford to do that. He cannot afford that, or it's curtains. Wow, drama to the last here in TGP, and Chris Johnson is now threatening to fall outside the 3-second window to the leader. He's 2.8.
Yeah, he's fallen back.
He's 2.8.
He needs to get past Jacko.
Yeah, 2.8 at the minute. That's 2.2 to Poop Cannon. He's still in the window at the minute, but he won't be for much longer if he can't make the moves. Parsa then has a look and gets it done. Does he? No, he doesn't. What a battle between Parsa and Jacko. Unbelievable. It's almost taking second on the stage at the minute because Chris Johnson and Poop Cannon is so much more important, but it's a lovely move from Jacko to get back in front, and my voice is going.
Well, all these times that he's been side by side, Jacko and Parsa just allows Poop Cannon to pull away even more, and now Sir Tom Penguin is right on the back of Chris Johnson and thought about going for a move there for 5th place. Oh wow, nearly lost it, the entry to the next corner. But coming around the next DRS zone, Parsa will once again have a run on Jacko. 1.7 seconds now behind Poop Cannon, and all of a sudden after that minor panic, you have to say, oh my god, it's beginning to fall away slightly possibly for Chris Johnson again as Baza went a bit wide there and Poop Cannon almost went into the lead. Yeah, well, Chris Johnson needs a medical now. 3 laps to go. It is Baza, it is Magic Poop Cannon, it is Jacko, then it's Parsa, then Chris Johnson. What can Chris Johnson conjure up here in the remaining 3 laps? It needs to be something special, but his hopes are fading.
his lack of
And
pace.
Jacko's got a penalty as well.
Wow. They're mounting up, aren't they? They're really mounting up.
I mean, it's 3.2 seconds, 3.3 seconds behind the leader now, Chris Johnson. He would finish in the lead of the race, and Poop Cannon would be, I think, third, would he? So
Well,
he could still do this.
He could still do it. He could still do it. But he needs to stay within 3 seconds. It's Parsa and Jacko again. This is sensational from this pair. They're trying everything in their power to steal the limelight from the championship contenders, and they're doing so. Miraculous stuff between them.
2.9 seconds, 3 seconds, so that will put him second place. This is just so close to call right now. Of course, 25 points for the win. You'd have Poop Cannon finishing third with just 15 points, and it would give him the championship, would give Chris Johnson the championship, but he's got to keep that 3 second gap.
My brain cannot calculate this. It just cannot. If it's 3.1 and he is still within range of Poop Cannon, Baza, his own teammate, would deny Chris Johnson the championship. Oh, after all we've seen tonight from Baza pitting when Chris needed the pit stop, somehow without deliberately doing so, splitting Poop Cannon and Chris Johnson in Bahrain after penalties, and now this, that would just top it all off.
It would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? I mean, it would purely come down to those penalty moments for Baza in the final 2 races of the season. 2.6 seconds is the gap once again now. And again, if it stays like this, Chris Johnson will win the championship.
Well, what's going on is, I mean, that's quite a significant margin. That's 4/10 in a sector. Is Baza using the gamemanship now? Is he trying to back them up for his teammate?
Maybe he is.
2.5 is coming down.
Close in.
Well, Poop Cannon needs to be told on the radio now, if you don't make a move, you are not winning the championship, son. This is vital.
Oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is amazing.
He has to do it.
It's essentially a time trial.
It is. Magic Poop Cannon needs to pass Baza to win this race and extend the gap. Even that isn't enough. But don't forget, Chris Johnson is one wide run off the track away from throwing away the championship himself.
He is indeed, yeah. But yeah, even if Poop Cannon was to get ahead of Baza, then it would be second place for Poop Cannon, wouldn't it? And that would still be 7 points. That would still give the championship to Chris Johnson.
This is tantalising. I mean, it is literally right on the edge. We are on the penultimate lap. We've got, what, 6 miles of racing here at Silverstone to go. And after the thousands of miles on the racetrack, the air miles jumping from country to country, from continent to continent, we still do not know who's going to win the TGP2 Season 28 title. Will it be Poop Cannon? Baza's wide, very wide, and now Poop Cannon senses an opportunity. He senses a run to try and claim the title back, because right now Chris is getting it. Can he get the line? He needs it
with overtake.
He needs it now. This is it. Last chance saloon. Baza defending left and right all over the road. What can Poop Cannon do? He can gain, but he can't do any more than gain. Chris is only 2 from the lead, and Poop Cannon's wide. Goodness
it's 2
gracious.
seconds the gap. He's pulling it down even further now, Chris Johnson. Oh, if he just has to keep it on the road, all 4 wheels, at least on the track. Not put 4 wheels off the track, and he will take the championship on this final lap.
1.8, you've got to feel, I want to speak to Baza after this race, is he deliberately backing them up? Because the gap has closed right down. It's difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell, to be honest, but Poop Cannon just can't really, it's almost like he can't really attack.
He needs
Look,
it now.
he's just getting poor exit out the corners. I wonder if he's totally cooked his tyres up.
Well, there's one thing for sure. Teams.
Here we go.
Oh, needs it now the outside. This could be a championship winning move. No, Baza has it covered. And there's just nothing Magic Poop Cannon can do. 1.4. This is Chris Johnson's championship. If he can just keep the car within the within the confines of the racetrack, it's his. Baza has bunched them all right up, and he's going to hand after everything we've seen. Look at that! They touch. The voice is going here. Poop Cannon trying absolutely everything he can, but it's to no avail. Chris is now there. He's 1.2 off.
Parsa's there.
Oh, big moment there. And that will now allow Jacko to pass Parsa. But it's all over. It's all over. It's surely all over. Chris just needs to stay within range. Stay on the racetrack for the final few corners. And he's done it. Oh, surely into the final corner. It's over. Magic Poop Cannon has got to admit defeat.
He's got a penalty!
I don't believe it! I don't believe it!
Side by side!
He's thrown it away! He's thrown it away! Chris Johnson in the final corner. It's Silverstone. It says it's Sao Paulo 2008 all over again for Chris Johnson. It's a Timo Glock moment. He's gone off. He's thrown the championship away. He's lost his head. He's lost it. I can't believe what I've just seen. The championship was there for him, and he's just thrown it away and handed it to Magic Poop Cannon, who, despite all the drama, all the unbelievable scenes we've seen over the course of the final few miles of this motor race, has somehow won the TGP2 World Championship. And I'm sorry, that is vintage TGP2, Dan, and I've not got a voice anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I that's going to take a while to process. That is unbelievable. So Buchanan was he was just totally losing time, wasn't he? He was obviously out of tyres completely. He was struggling so much. He had Parset attacking him at the end of the race, and Jacko, didn't he? Had them all round him all of a sudden, and then Chris Johnson cut the corner, got a 3-second penalty, and then they were basically side by side, wasn't it? It was all genuine fighting for position across the line, and Chris Johnson lost the car. I'm not sure if he was hit. I think he might have just put the power on a bit too early though, and went round into a spin, and it just gave Poop Cannon the championship. That is absolutely wild.
Well, I did say to you off air, Dan, for the sake of my throat, I could do with a nice calm title fight. Well, I don't think my throat can take much more. What a finish to this race. What a finish to the TGP2 Championship. Season 28, TGP2, you've delivered once again. And, well, Baza wins the race. I don't think anyone cares. What a win for Baza. Well done to Baza. But wow. Magic Poop Cannon had the championship lost with just 400 metres to go, and Chris Johnson got the vital time penalty he didn't need to get in the final corner and handed it straight back, spun the car round and ended his title hopes. In the history books, the gap will be bigger than you think it might have looked in real life, but that is possibly the closest TGP title fight in history.
Yeah, it's got to be. I've never known it to come down to literally the last sector of the lap like that. It's just astonishing. But 380 points then for Poop Cannon, and it will be 364, I believe, for Chris Johnson. But literally just, if the end of the race was a sector beforehand, it would have been Chris Johnson winning the championship. That is unreal.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, and I just wish I had a better throat to cover it.
Yeah.
I don't think I was able to give that justice, unfortunately. But wow, what a finish! Baza wins, Jacko second. But forget the rundown. We don't need to do that. It's all about Magic Poop Cannon, who has won the championship in the very last corner of this race. Chris Johnson picked up the penalty. When he picked it up, he then knew he'd lost the championship, got erratic on the exit of the corner, spun off, and, with his head spinning, pathetically almost, couldn't get himself back out of the grass. And no wonder, because the emotions must have been skyrocketing. It's unbelievable.
I just cannot believe it. I mean, we come here to the final race of the season at Silverstone, at his home venue, Chris Johnson's home venue. The fans are all singing F1's coming home, and Estonia are going to go away with the win. Wow. All because of a last sector error, a last sector penalty. God, what is it with the English and penalties? Unbelievable.
Well, it's unbelievable. There will be some party in Tallinn tonight because Magic Poop Cannon has won the championship in the most dramatic circumstances. And to be honest, Dan, I don't think there's any other comparison to this championship finale other than Sao Paulo 2008. I couldn't even get the words out, and I was that stunned by it, because that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah, that is the closest thing that I can think of. Yeah, and the drivers are all going to be finishing off the season, I believe, by doing some celebratory donuts. But Chris Johnson's already left the circuit. He's gone home.
No wonder. I'm not even slightly surprised that he's departed. It's just, it's incredible. It really is absolutely incredible. I'm speechless. He's out of here, and I can see why. Because wow, he's literally thrown away the championship, and well, Magic Poop Cannon is the victor, and we'll now get some celebratory donuts from him. Unbelievable, unbelievable, Dan! I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I'm genuinely in shock, but I just wonder maybe if, I mean, what's just going to the stewards? I wonder. We'll have to look back at it again. I was on board with him at the time, and I mean he had cars all around him, but then so did Poop Cannon as well, and I think he just lost the car, but we will have to review it. But to be honest, with such a frantic ending like that, I'd be surprised if there was any penalties applied or anything like that. And I don't necessarily think Poop Cannon done anything wrong at all.
Yeah.
So I think you have to say it is going to be Poop Cannon Championship.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt.
And I think,
but just
another thing, Dan. I mean, I know it's not really about what happened before the incident, but I mean the fact that he spun. Sorry, he got the penalty before the final corner. It was kind of over anyway, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? But I know you're supposed to take each incident into its own without the situation, and I'm sure they will do that. But we'll wait and see. I mean, during all the chaos and drama, it was hard to really compute what was going on, wasn't it? But it did look to me like any shout from Chris Johnson to try and get a penalty to his main rival would be a desperate one. But we'll have to wait and see.
I'm just watching it back again now, and it does look to me as though he essentially just goes straight on the penultimate corner and basically just hits the side of Poop Cannon's car and goes into a spin. So I think it was his own error, and as you say, on the previous corner, he just totally cut it and absolutely got a totally deserved penalty. Poop Cannon was struggling so much, and managed to just get to the finish line and get the championship, and Chris Johnson finishes it by literally having to reverse across the track.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable stuff to finish it off. Let's see if we can pick up Magic Poop Cannon then, and let's see if he's going to be doing some donuts out there. But there he is, Magic Poop Cannon, doing the donuts out there on the racetrack. Your world champion in TGP2 in the most dramatic of circumstances. There he is, celebratory donuts out there on the circuit for the new TGP2 world champion, the first time champion, and in the most dramatic circumstances ever. Magic Poop Cannon has won this incredible world championship, Dan.
Unbelievable, and he deserves it. You have to say he deserves it. Most pole positions, I'd say half the season he got the poles, and absolute most wins as well. He has been the class of the field consistently throughout, hasn't he? Remember the very first race of the season, he was in the lead, battling with Chris Johnson in Australia, and made an error, didn't he, from the lead of the race, which let Chris Johnson through. But for the large majority, he has dominated, and especially when Chris Johnson started to slip away slightly towards the end, Poop Cannon managed to be as consistent as ever, especially in qualifying, and he is a well-deserved TGP2 champion. And I believe it also means he'll be taking part in the TGP2 Race of Champions now as well.
Yeah, he'll be in the Race of Champions. He's booked his spot. Chris Johnson, of course, already in that with previous championships, but he now earns his place. Now having a look at Baza then doing his donuts. He's had a part to play in the championship throughout, but especially tonight, Dan, doesn't he? I mean, without maybe trying to be playing a part in it, he certainly did. I mean, I'm really interested to know if there was any gamesmanship, especially at the end of the final run, to try and help his teammate. But I suppose we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never really know the truth, will we? But I mean, it's just quite incredible what we've seen. And now they're doing donuts in formation here, the two Alfa Romeos. It's very nice indeed.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick up Magic Poop Cannon again. I'm sure Dom would love a couple of little shots of him doing some donuts for the end of season montage. But there he is, Magic Poop Cannon, doing the donuts. He is your TGP2 champion for season 28 in the most dramatic of circumstances. The man who hails from Estonia, from Tallinn, and it will be a party in Tallinn tonight. What a result for him. And wow, what a season, what a finale. And I think that's a good time for us to say goodbye on what has been a quite thrilling season. Congratulations, Magic Poop Cannon. Commiserations to Chris Johnson. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this action. Dan, final word to you.
Well done, Chris. Well done, Magic Poop Cannon, as you say. And Chris Johnson, I suppose, is never going to forget the final sector of the Silverstone circuit, is he? Ever again.
He sure isn't, and I'm sure he can come back stronger in the TGP2 Race of Champions tonight. But that's all next week. That's all from us. It's been some season. Be sure to join us again next season, where I'm sure the drama will be just as good. Good night.